Dedicating the verdict to the Mati Manush of Bengal. I caught up with Derek O'Brien, Trinamool Congress MP and the party's parliamentary leader in the Rajya Sabha, and asked him whether or not he felt that the party's stand had been vindicated and what we could expect going forward.
Well, it's more than an election issue 5 years ago or a promise we made. This movement has been going on for now over a decade. Well, obviously there's a lot of emotion here in Bengal because this is actually a tribute to the farmers who've hung in there for the last 10 years. It's a tribute to Mamata Banerjee, who was the forefront of this movement. And it's really today, Shereen, there's so much of emotion because what the Supreme Court said today, as the Supreme Court of India, we have been saying for the last 10 years, but nobody was listening. But the language of the Supreme Court, I haven't read the judgment, but from whatever little I picked up, it's scathing. It talks about a fraud deal done by the past government and the Tatas. So it's very, very clear. I don't think there is any grey. It's absolutely in black and white. And in 3 months' time, this land has to be given back. Not only the 600 acres, not only the 400 acres. So that's one win. Also the 600 acres and the farmers for that. But I think the bigger picture here, Shereen, is that, you know, we all want industry and we all want industry to progress. But the big message is that you can't indulge in land grabs, even if you're the biggest corporation in the country or at that time the left was a government with a brute majority, but you can't use that brute majority to grab land. I think that's the big message which has got across from the Trinamool.
If I could ask you about the road ahead now, and as you pointed out, the Supreme Court has directed that in the next 12 weeks the land should be returned to the farmers in Singur. Now, explain to us whether you believe you are going to be able to meet that timeline and how complicated and complex is this process going to be?
Well, I'm sure the Chief Minister of West Bengal, the Chief Minister of West Bengal and her team, now that we've got this wonderful new gift, because we changed the name of the state hardly 2 days ago to Bengal and to Bongo and to Bangal, to Bengal and and to Bangla. Okay, I'm also emotional and excited. So I think this will all happen. Now that the Supreme Court has given the judgment, it will all happen. Listen, Shereen, we've been waiting for 10 years. Today you should have seen some of the pictures from Taposhi Malik's father at Singur and the other farmers of Singur. I mean, you can't imagine. We still remember the 26-day hunger strike, the fast which Mamata Ji undertook, where she had to be rushed in an ambulance after that to the hospital.
Yes.
It's 10 years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. At that time, we were in opposition with 29 MLAs. Today, now Mamata Ji is the second-time Chief Minister. So I don't think you should worry about the implementation. Today is just, it's been a few hours. I think it will be implemented. And at the end of it all, the farmers will get the best deal possible.
Okay, Derek, let me also talk to you about the message that you started by, and that is the process of land acquisition itself. The government had moved an ordinance which in a sense diluted the consent clause, etc. The ordinance was then shelved. At this point in time, what is the way that the West Bengal government, or now the Bengal government, is going to address the issue of acquisition? Because you do want industry, you do want industrialization. I know that you've been trying to get industry to invest in the state. What is the current situation as far as the land bank is concerned, and what can be the pragmatic way going forward for land acquisition in the state?
Okay, so you asked me 3 questions. I'll answer them one by one. Firstly, you said about land bank. The West Bengal government has a land bank in place. There is enough land in West Bengal. All industry needs to do is we are very transparent. We are absolutely, there's very little red tape in Bengal. There's a lot of blue tape, no blue tape as well. But on a serious note, so there is a land bank in Bengal. Land is not an issue. Number 2, we're very clear that the two can coexist. Agriculture and industry can coexist. So where is the clash? It is only when one side makes it forcible, then it becomes the real problem. And negotiate, and then you buy the land. Negotiate and buy the land. But what happened here, which is what I said in 2006 when I was first appointed spokesperson after joining the party in 2003, is that you cannot acquire land for public good and then hand it over to a private corporation. We have no problem with any big industry. We don't have any problem with any big industry coming to Bengal. Please come, but don't forcibly acquire land, and do not.
Okay.
Shereen, I'll tell you how this works in a simple analogy. Tomorrow, if somebody comes to your studio and decides to take over your entire studio and say they want to set up a diagnostic center there, you as a journalist and your colleagues as
I'm
journalists
on your
will say,
side,
no,
Derek.
we don't want.
I'm on your
We
side.
don't want
I'm on
this
your
to
side.
become a diagnostic center. We don't want, our livelihood is media. We want to be journalists. So you can't force us to become diagnostic center suddenly because you want to acquire the land. So this is the basic
completely
argument.
agree with you.
And this ordinance also, this ordinance was a total sham. From the time it started, I went to that first select committee, the joint select committee, and we knew even the BJP, I don't think, was serious about it.
And the ordinance is history now, Derek.